Welcome back to the Empire Builders podcast. Dave Young here alongside Stephen Semple. And the topic whispered in my ear this morning was one that Stephen reminded me that I requested.
Because and you remember it so well.
That's the fun part of being me is I get to hide my own Easter eggs. So we have talked about so many brands of chocolate, and I think I mentioned that sometime we need to talk about Wonka.
Yes.
And I kind of wish you told me beforehand, because I'd go back and watch the movie just for the fun of it. I haven't watched the latest one, the Timothy Chalamet or whatever.
I watched it on a flight recently because it was one of those ones where it's like I didn't want to run the risk of spending the money going to the theater for.
Sure,
So I was on a flight and it was one of the movies and I thought, I'll watch this. And it was actually a good rendition. It's the prequel. Is how it's set.
Oh, it's the origin story.
It's the origin story, and it's good.
Oh, cool.
It's good. I enjoyed it.
Well, I'm gonna have to watch it.
I thought they did a nice job of it. Yeah.
Well, we're actually recording these on a Saturday morning. Maybe I'll talk to Julie and see if we can watch Wonka this afternoon.
I think you'd enjoy it.
It'd be kind of fun.
I think you'd enjoy it.
So, what'd you find out? I'm dying to know. Was there really a golden ticket?
Well, you're just going to have to wait and see.
Did he really dress that way?
It's the late 1960s, and the candy business is kind of in a bit of a slump. There hasn't been really much innovation. It's completely controlled by Mars and Hershey at this point.
Probably the American Dental Association had just formed.
And what we've got this food executive, Kenneth Mason, who's looking to shake things up at Quaker Oats. He's an executive at Quaker Oats. And, Quaker Oats is famous for oatmeal and Captain Crunch cereal.
And the old Quaker dude in the hat staring at you from the box. Sure.
Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And Kenneth Mason sees a bigger opportunity. Now, he graduated with a degree in English from Yale before going into the food business. And he has aspirations to become president of Quaker.
Okay.
And he's about to head into candy. And so he goes, you know what? I really want to make a big splash in this division. Because in the 1960s, candy's boring. There's no new innovation. There's no advertising going on.
Mm-hmm.
Mason believes this is my opportunity to create the next new thing, make my mark, and become president of the company.
Okay.
But he needs a launching pad to create that splash. And he's read the book, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And it inspires him what to do. And this idea went on to become like a $2.8 billion business. Wonka is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But it starts with this book that's about to become a film. And he wants to tie in to the movie. He basically convinces Quaker to finance the movie. So they give the movie company like $3 million, which is like $23 million today. And they want to get a Wonka candy out at the same time. New candy in the movie. Tie the two together. These two things has never been done before. This is a brand new idea of literally making a movie for the candy that you're about to launch.
Okay.
So, and the film industry is really excited about this because the film industry is at a low point. There's been lots of box office failures. Over half the homes in the United States now have a TV. And here's what's happened to weekly movie attendance. In 1963, weekly, so people going to a movie once a week, was 44 million people in 1963.
Okay.
By the end of the decade, by the end of the 60s, it's down to 20 million people. That's a huge decline.
Television. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So basically, the industry's also looking for new blood and new ideas. So this idea of Quaker coming along and fully financing a movie, Hollywood's like, woohoo, this is awesome. But there's one thing they want to do. They want to change the title, not Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, but they want to change the title to Willy Wonka.
Yeah, sure.
Because they want to do the Willy Wonka bar. So they got to come up with an idea really quickly because the movie's being made. They don't have any product right now. So the easiest and fastest thing to make is a chocolate bar.
Yeah.
But, that's a crowded space and it's a risk. It's got to be a hit. Well, the movie's a hit today because it's become kind of a classic, But at the time that it came out in the box office, because it was released in 1971, it was a flop.
Yeah.
It was a flop. That year, they were competing with Dirty Harry, Clockwork Orange, The French Connection. It was really hard to stand out. It was a musical. Musicals have been declining. So the Wonka bar did not get the lift it was hoping for from the movie. But Mason is still trying to create ideas for the Wonka brand, and he still wants to stay true to this idea. He still believes that there's something here. So he doubles down, and he wants to come up with a new candies that were not on the market. So the first idea was the everlasting gobstopper.
I remember it. Yeah.
Right? Because it was
jawbreaker that never ends.
Yeah, and it was a new manufacturing technology, and he wanted to make the candy look like the candy in the film and make it last longer than anything in the market. And so it's the mid-1970s. He's still trying to make a hit in the candy business. And there's lots of pressure from the board. And there's these jawbreakers being made by breakers. And basically, that's what they did, is they took that idea and they turned it into the everlasting gobstopper by tripling the layers, with each being a different flavor. So basically, as you're having it, the flavor changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. 5 years later, they launched the gobstopper. It's mid-1970s. And here's the interesting thing is the movie starts to take off.
Yeah, because it's the reverse of what they intended to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, the movie starts to take off. Guess what ends up happening?
Stay tuned. We're going to wrap up this story and tell you how to apply this lesson to your business right after this.
Hey, Rick, do you ever feel like...
Yeah, I do. Spinning my wheels, getting no traction.
I was going to say, like, we're part of a computer simulation. You know, like the Matrix.
Oh, I guess.
Your business still isn't growing, huh?
Nope.
Working harder, spending more, going down rabbit holes, but not growing.
Exactly. Going through the motions, like Neo at the beginning.
Well, you could talk to the host.
The guy on this podcast?
Sounds like he's figured out all the secrets for growth.
I mean, these stories are interesting.
It doesn't cost anything to talk to him.
That's true. Maybe I should get plugged in.
Let's pick up our story where we left off, and trust me, you haven't missed a thing.
Guess what ends up happening? Takes off well enough that Kenneth Mason gets his dream, and he becomes the president of Quaker.
Oh, it all works out happy in the end for him.
Well, and he passes Wonka over to Bob Anderson. And Bob Anderson was a guy from Wrigley. And Bob does a really cool innovation. So they take a look at, there's these bits, there's these gravel kind of like hard bits of hardened sugar at the bottom of the gobstopper machine.
Okay.
So they're taking a look at these things and they go and they make them sour. So they're these little granular things that make them sour. And Bob takes a box that was originally designed for cigarettes and he puts them in it. And basically, when you shake it, it drops out 2 flavors. So 2 little bits will come out.
Yeah.
And he's wandering around and there's doodles from one of the designers that the food scientists saw. And the doodles looked kind of like the candies that they were making.
Good.
And they asked the artist, well, what do you call these little characters? I call them nerds.
Nerds. Yeah.
So nerds, which were basically made from the waste from the gobstopper machine, put them in this little cigarette package, and 215 million boxes of nerds was sold in the first 18 months.
Wow.
And it was one of the first candies to use a character.
Good.
So that was like one of the really big innovative things of this character on the side of the box.
I'm familiar with nerds, but I guess I don't tie Wonka to them. Maybe I don't look at the package enough, but they're Wonka nerds. Yeah.
They're Wonka nerds. And in 1988, Nestle buys Wonka, and then later it was bought by the Ferrera Group. So Wonka was always part of a big company. But the thing I really found interesting about the approach of Kenneth Mason is his desire was to become president of Quaker. And then he has this little division that's kind of being ignored. And what he realized was this was an opportunity for him. And the opportunity was be super innovative, stand out, roll the dice, take that risk. And if it works, you get the prize.
Yeah.
In business today, I think not enough people who are running divisions or particular departments think that way, that it really is this opportunity to do that innovation.
Yeah.
And take that risk and do those different things, because you're sort of in this little corner where you can, be a little bit more innovative.
Sure. It's a cool story that he did do that. He won for taking the risks.
Yeah.
And you just don't. You're never going to win by just sitting back and doing the same thing that you've been doing.
Right.
I have to admit, though, that I am.
I know you're a little disappointed.
A little disappointed that it's not a true movie. It's a candy made after a movie, not a movie made after a candy.
Well, yeah,
but that's okay too.
That's okay too. But the thing I found also that's quite interesting, and I think this shaped a little bit of the way Kenneth Mason looks at the world, is before entering the food business, his degree was in English from Yale.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe today, I know today, we underappreciate people who have fine arts. I don't know, I guess, would you define English as a fine arts, but more those soft, skilled,
just a liberal arts education of some kind.
Liberal arts education is undervalued in business today. We're looking for people with MBAs and engineering degrees. And look, all those things are important. Heck, my degree is a business degree. But a lot of innovation comes from people who approach problems from a different angle and look at the world in a different way. And those are the people who come with these more liberal arts degrees. And it's amazing how much innovation is driven from folks who look at the world. Heck, Steve Jobs had a degree in calligraphy, right? And I think business far too often is just hiring people looking for, do you have a math degree? Do you have a science degree? Do you have a business degree? Oh, you've got a degree in English? Yeah, we're not interested.
Yeah. Honestly, I've been thinking about how big AI is becoming. I think there's probably an advantage to having a broad-based liberal arts degree if you're trying to figure out how to talk to an AI and get it to do what you want to do.
Yes, especially in terms of training it.
Especially if you're trying to get it to do something creative.
Yeah.
If all you speak is analytical phrases, that's what you're going to get back, right? AIs tend to echo. It's not strictly an echo chamber, but they're going to try to please you and meet you where you are. And if where you are is analytical, that's what you're going to get back.
Well, and that's what it's actually designed to do.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask a question in an analytical manner, it's going to give you an answer in an analytical manner. That's what it's actually supposed to do.
Exactly. So
Dave, you asked the question about Wonka. There's
there it
your
is.
answer for Wonka.
Yeah. Let me put out a request. Okay. Because I've been saying this at the Wizard Academy, where I'm vice chancellor. We have an elevator in our Wizard Tower. Any modern Wizard Tower has an elevator. And I always say when I'm giving a tour, above the 5th floor button, which takes you to the star deck, the roof of the tower, it opens up in a little vestibule on the rooftop. I'd like to have a button, a Wonka button, an elevator button that sits right above the number 5. And so if any of our listeners, if you're a designer and you do 3D printing and that kind of thing, man, make me a button and send it. I'll glue it to the inside of the elevator, and we'll have a Wonka button in our elevator.
There you go. That's awesome.
Does it sound like a deal?
Sounds like a deal.
All right. I don't have a 3D. I don't know how to make a Wonka button. I know somebody does. I've been asking for this for years. Nobody sent me one yet.
We'll just show you how great our listeners are. They'll get right on it.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, David.
Thank you, Stephen. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Please share us, subscribe on your favorite podcast app, and leave us a big, fat, juicy 5-star rating and review at Apple Podcasts. And if you'd like to schedule your own 90-minute empire building session, you can do it at empirebuildingprogram.com.